going live. Cat hit the power button. There we are.
All right, I want to say, it was not my fault. Despite what Jeff states, I was here technically 60 seconds early.
60 seconds before go time, whereas the other two hosts will show up about 10 minutes early. Hey, Steve, how was your day? Oh, it was good, man. You know, I woke up, had a coffee. Oh, that's great. So here's what we're doing in today's show. Here's things to watch out for. I want to kind of... John? Nope. Go.
I keep things fresh.
That's right. Always on my toes with this one. Welcome to Talking Heads, everyone. Episode 118, your once weekly live show for the latest in beer and tech news. I'm Jeff.
And I'm always late.
Thank you. Thank you for finally admitting it. It's gonna be a good show. If you've never seen the show before, this is our once weekly live stream. We do about 20 minutes of beer news at the top, and then an hour to an hour and 20 minutes worth of tech. And then lately we've been finishing up with some Picard news, or talking about the last week's episode of Picard.
It's on tomorrow.
It's on tomorrow, yeah. Do you want to stay up and watch it? Anyway, we do drink alcohol on the show. However, the content is always as family-friendly as humanly possible, both in language and content.
Yes.
So we do encourage all people of all ages to watch because, hey, tech news affects us all. And we all kind of like it.
Yep.
During the early part of the show, let us know what you're drinking over in the chat, and we will try to give some early show shout-outs. Speaking of which, John, what are we drinking tonight?
Well, you're always complaining what I bring.
Yes, I am.
So I decided to actually try to bring you something decent. And I know you love Bullet Rye. It's a special place in your heart.
Yep.
I found Guinness makes a stock ale aged in Bullet Rye.
Bourbon.
Bullet
It's
bourbon.
the bourbon. Yeah.
Sorry, not the rye. But so this isn't just a stout. So what this is actually 50% stout, 50% barley wine.
Ooh.
So it's 10%. And then to top that off, I brought possibly a Patreon additional help, thanks to Claw. A above 4% Norwegian IPA. I know. Oh.
That's like narcotics over there.
Although it is only an 11-ounce can. Feel that can.
I did pick it up.
Yeah, it's like, it just, there's something off with this.
It's because it was still probably $12. All right. What would you like to start with? I also have one other too that I forgot. Right there.
Oh, those are new.
Yes. This is from Square Mile Cider. This is a hopped cider with Galaxy hops. Ooh. Yeah. 6.2%, I believe.
Now, Galaxy hops, those are the same hops we had last time with the Ninkasi, which was kind of weird.
It was weird.
Yeah.
This one, it's much more... It's a little bit more danky than that was.
Oh, okay.
And so it's a good hop flavor in this.
What do you want to start with?
I could go pretty much either way. I think I want to have this a little bit warmer.
Okay.
You know what? Let's go ahead and try the
cider?
The cider first.
Okay.
Let me go ahead and swap.
And then I'm gonna put the IP in the fridge.
That way that one's nice and cold. We got some new glassware out there.
Oh.
Whatever you want.
These are 12 ounces, right?
I think so. They might be 10 or 11, but yeah, they're close enough. Close enough. There we go. All right, so this is again Square Mile Cider, hopped cider with Galaxy hops, made here in Portland.
Cool.
So, and pure Pacific Northwest apples is what it says. None of that. They're probably Washington apples.
Probably.
Damn it.
Clear.
Yeah.
Oh, close. I think this is probably a 10 or 11 ounce.
Yeah, I think it's officially a 10-ounce glass. Yeah. I use these for tasters when we're splitting bombers, and it's almost perfect.
Oh, it smells nice though.
Yeah. So, like I said, you can smell the apple from here.
Oh, what? Someone's drinking Bud Light Orange?
Yeah.
And it's not Bite My Bits?
It's not my
Civil Bro.
Yeah. Big Spoon, $2 donation. You're late. Nah.
Yeah.
I've been accused of worse. Let's see. Drinking Brown Sugar. Nice.
Ooh, that's a good beer.
Boulevard Phantom Haze from Cosmic Drew. Very nice.
That's nice.
Restream gave me a trophy that says, "Congratulations, you've received 100 messages today with Restream chat." Okay.
Cool.
Hopefully there's going to be a lot more of those. Rogue Rolling Thunder Imperial Stout. Skull.
Ooh,
2020 edition. Montgomery Brewing Peanut Buster Porter from Novella Hub, who donated graciously a whole case of beer a couple of weeks ago. Civil says he's going to get hammered tonight. So, Jeff, where is part 3 of the Grid VM Gaming Dell R7610 system? Oh! You mean this? You mean the thing that I'm finally getting back to this weekend? Yeah, it's right there. So, very, very soon, if all of you have been waiting for that. I have some Boulevard Brandyland for later. I wish I was trying that cider. Love a good hopped cider, yeah. Reverend is sipping some Barry Trow Berlin style wheat soured and aged in foeders. I'm assuming he means founders. I don't know. To be followed by a Clown Shoes Bowl Farm IPA.
Ooh, I do love Clown Shoes.
That's a good one. All right. 4K stream looks nice. Thank you very much. That is great to hear. And let's go ahead and jump into some beer news.
So, Jeff, you are an avid pet lover and owner.
Yes.
A lot of
that is one way to put it.
Yes. A lot of our or yours, I should say, followers are as well. They have actually posted pictures of their dogs. It would kind of suck if one went missing, huh?
Yeah.
It would really suck.
I've never had that happen, but I've had a couple of friends who have, and we've had to do the whole put up posters, and hopefully you find them.
Hopefully find them.
Yeah.
You know what would be awesome though? If somehow beer and you could find your dog could kind of come together.
Yeah. You do the whole, milk carton.
Yeah,
thing.
Milk carton thing.
Yeah.
Well, someone thought of that. And it actually did help a lady find her dog.
This is a cool story.
Yeah.
This is a really cool story.
After 3 years.
Yeah.
So this lady, Monica, moved away from Minnesota. Or no, Iowa. Sorry. Iowa. And moved to Minnesota. And she lost her dog in the process. Or she lost her dog and then had to move.
Yeah.
Essentially what it was. And the dog was on the leash and everything like that. And so then there was, I forget what brewery it was, Motorworks Brewing decided to do this kind of canned 6-pack series where they posted pictures of dogs of homeless shelters of saying, hey, adopt these dogs, and we will help you with the cost, the offset of the cost of just kind of some fees and stuff like that.
By the way, this is in Mathis, Minnesota. From Iowa to Minnesota.
Oh, yeah.
Motorworks Brewery is in Florida. So this wasn't even like a local brewery or chain or anything like this. This was just another brewery in another state.
Yeah.
That said, hey, let's run this campaign.
Yeah. And actually, I wanted to talk about this story a while ago because they started doing this in January. And I was like, just other beer news just seemed more entertaining. This really stood out because this lady ended up giving them proof that, hey, here's my dog. The kennel said, yep, we believe you. Here you go. You showed us enough proof. And thanks to beer, this owner and this dog got reunited 3 years later.
Yeah, that is just so cool.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things to watch when I'm, need a little pick-me-up is the pets reunited with their owners, videos.
Like the army ones.
The army ones,
The
especially.
army ones always get you, They're always like having a seizure or something, but it's like, no, they're just so happy.
Yep. To be honest, he had me. Oh, I don't know. Oh, Scotty said, really should be celebrating with something more than a Bud Light Orange. To be honest, he had me buy it this evening specifically to annoy Craft Computing during the show.
Well, at least it's not Bud Light Seltzer.
Yeah. That was awful.
That was.
That was just awful.
I can bring the other flavors. I hear they're better. The cherry was way better than the strawberry. I mean, I'm going to bring the Corona, and if I can find the, not the Natty Light, what was the other one?
Oh, the Four Loko.
The Four Loko. If I can find that, that's going
I'll try the Four Loko. I'm done with the Natty and the
no, Pabst has one too. And Pabst has a 6% or 8%. They have an 8%.
That whiskey was probably up there with some of the worst things I've ever had on this show.
I don't even know where that bottle's at.
Good.
Yeah. So that was a cool little story I found. And then I'm sure like a lot of us, I know Jeff and I watched the Super Bowl. And something cool, one of the Kansas City Chiefs defensive ends did Derrick Nnadi?
Yeah.
Nnadi. Basically said for all of Kansas City, I'm going to pay for all puppy adoption fees for the whole entire city.
Yeah.
I think that day or that week, whatever.
Yeah, I think it was that week.
And Coors Light caught on to this and said, you know what? Hold my beer.
Yep.
I'm going to do one better. And they're going to cover all puppy adoption fees across the nation up till February 21st.
Yeah. This is, again, a very cool story. As the, I guess you can call me a dad or a pet owner of a couple of different rescue dogs. Most of my dogs growing up have all been rescue dogs. We've had Labs and Dobermans, and my largest dog right now she's an Australian Shepherd of some kind, but it's some kind of terrier mix, either pit or boxer. And so it wasn't a dog that a lot of people were like wanting because it has that aggressive, jowl look and things like that.
Got a strong jaw.
Right, and we just fell in love with her, and she is the sweetest dog in the world. Yeah. But most of my dogs have been rescue dogs. Yeah. And to see, Coors Light stepping up to the plate and saying, you know what, all Humane Society dogs, we'll pay for the adoptions until February 21st. That's just so cool for that industry, for that, for that cause.
Yeah. So they're not paying for 100%. They're basically paying for the fees, but they will pay up to $100 reimbursement of any of the fees. All you have to do is, and you don't have to buy any of their beer. You don't, but you do have to be 21 years of age to apply for the rebate.
Correct, and that's actually a federal law because a beer company cannot give a prize to someone who is under the age of 21, and this is going to constitute a giveaway or an endorsement or something like that.
But they're saying you don't have to buy a beer. All you have to do is text a picture of your receipt to this specified number. If you guys are interested in doing a dog, want $100 out the fee, check out the link. It's probably in the description.
Yes, link is down in the video description, at least to this particular article.
Yeah, at least to this article. You can Google it. Coors Light has a page that has, here's the official form, all the information you need to know.
So what are you thinking about the hop cider so far?
I really like it, actually. Yeah. It's nice. It is just the balance between hop and sweetness. The cider's not overly sweet, but it's just sweet enough. The hops really complement it.
Right. No, it's a very crisp cider, I will say. It's almost a little bit drying. Yeah. But it is just a little bit sweet, just enough to let you know that it is a cider and whatnot. And then, like you said, just very, very well balanced with a little bit of the grassy and just a slight dankness of that hop.
Yeah, there's kind of almost like a leafy dankness, like the leaf of the hop, not the actual. I don't know. It's kind of right. I almost get describe it as almost like a very, very light spearmint, something along that line.
I could see that.
Just a hint of it. Yeah. Big spoon. Cheers to adopt, don't shop.
Yep. Thank you much, Big Spoon. $5 donation.
So, and then there is the last bit of news. Is actually sad and good news. Yeah. So the oldest craft brewery in Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania. Yeah, Pennsylvania is shutting down. They're closing down because their head brewer and the first female brewer since Prohibition decides to retire. Yeah. So 33-year-old, our last name is Stout. I forget. Carol Stout. Stout. I don't know how to put that D in there. But she is basically retiring. She's just kind of not done with it, but hey, I'm old. I put in my time. I put in 35 years to the brewing. 33 years, sorry. Yep. So it's kind of actually a big deal for just the beer industry in general. And the brewery stated themselves, hey, she was our head brewer this whole entire time. She's retiring. We're closing down. Right. But they're not going to stop production. They said they were, because this is the short article, but there was one that kept asking us to subscribe, so I took the link out.
Yeah, I saw the first one you posted. I went,
yeah, I know, but I have a lot of detail on it. But they're going to still try to contract out their beers So the beer is still there, but basically the main brewery, everything else is going away. So kind of sad news, but she actually paved the way for Dogfish Head and a lot of the breweries in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania. And they said, like, basically they all look up to her as like a brewing icon.
Right.
So, and interesting thing was too that they still stuck around, and she doesn't like brewing IPA. She's like, we're not an IPA brewery. We're a Pilsner lager type brewery. You want to come clean, crisp beer? You come to our brewery.
Right.
So, kind of cool, but kind of sad.
Yep. Yeah, and I do respect that. I do respect by people, making what they like. I don't like it when, I go to a restaurant with the chef's name on the front of it, because I want that chef to make me something he wants to eat.
Yeah.
I don't go to Applebee's and expect the same kind of service.
Yeah.
And whatnot.
I go to Applebee's like, I know it's from a bag. I know it's frozen.
Yeah. If I wanted microwave food, I can do that myself.
Yeah, exactly.
But I do respect that, saying by, this is our style, this is what I make, this is what I enjoy, this is what I want to share with you.
Yeah. So there you go. Yeah, you don't like it, that's not hurting my feelings.
Yep, exactly. Craft Computing, have either of you tried West Velteren 12? I have not. Mm-mm. I have not tried that scotch.
You would probably more than I would.
I probably, yeah.
Yeah, if out of the two of us. Steve, maybe.
Yeah.
So.
Yep, no, have not tried that one. All right. And I think that's going to do it for beer news.
That is it for beer news. It was a kind of a slower beer news week.
Yeah. Hey, 19 minutes?
19 minutes, yeah.
18, since you were a minute late.
It's not my fault you keep losing your stream key.
Yeah. YouTube keeps changing it on me. For a while, for literally the first 2 years of my channel, it was the same stream key the whole time. And now they've been like cycling it out every month. And if you don't check it before you go live, then they change it on you thanks to the new Studio Beta. So, yeah, we tried broadcasting for about 60 or 90 seconds. And it said I was green, and it said, yay, you're live, at least inside of OBS.
Yeah. And then there's nothing up there.
There's nothing up there, no indication that I could actually go live. Which, again, I still hate the new live dashboard.
Oh, yeah.
God, it's terrible. It's just a
I know. When they asked for my survey on the new YouTube studios,
it's always one star on everything.
Yeah, it was all negative.
One star with an explanation for why I rated it that way.
I know.
It's just awful. So, but it's what we have to work with.
Yep.
All right, moving right along. So we're gonna avoid political talk as much as possible. I never talk about politics, let alone partisan politics, on this show. It is strictly verboten, as they say. But there is a little bit of news from the Iowa caucuses as far as what caused a delay in results becoming available, and they're blaming it on an app.
Yep. I guess Iowa did, I think, one of the first to do you can now vote via an app you can download from the state. And everyone started blaming it, and right away the state said, whoa. We only had 3 months to develop this, and no one to test it.
Right.
You guys are technically our beta test right now. I don't know why you decided to do this.
Yeah. So it was a company called Shadow, I believe is the name of who's the developer? Was it Shadow? Yeah, Shadow.
Yeah.
DC-based company called Shadow, which has some interesting political ties in and of itself that, again, we won't get into here. But a company called Shadow developed the application specifically for collecting caucus votes.
Yeah.
And what always boggles my mind is Oregon and Colorado are considered the gold standards for how you conduct voting systems in the modern age. Your voting registration is tied to your DMV registration. If you have a driver's license, you are a registered voter.
Yeah.
Period. End of discussion. That's it.
Good to go.
If you are a registered voter, you will receive your ballot in the mail. I fill it out from the comfort of my kitchen table. I drop it in the mailbox within the next 4 weeks or something like that. And I have placed my votes.
Yep.
Or you can drop it into any number of ballot drop-off locations. Any post office, most schools, most government buildings, they are all voter drop-off locations. And so there is a person standing there monitoring the voter box 24 hours a day, and will sign off that you indeed dropped your ballot off.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Yep. Or you can technically pay for it. But
Right.
Yeah, to pay to mail it in. But yeah.
Right. Yeah. Or
Just a stamp to mail
put a
it.
stamp on it and off it goes.
Yeah.
And like I said, Oregon and Colorado are considered the gold standards for how you conduct voting in a modern society, and none of the other states will follow it.
I don't know.
Don't know why.
I know. They're like, hey, I got an idea. Let's have everyone be able to do it from their phone.
Right.
Or a touchscreen tablet that they can walk to.
Right.
Every type of voting technology that's been introduced, tablet, kiosk stand, something has broken.
Right. In my experience, in my very vast experience of being a procurer of electronic goods for various projects, there are some projects which definitely benefit from the addition of technology.
Mm-hmm.
There are other things where you will throw technology at it and you will cause more problems than it is worth. And I believe voting is one of them. I believe, having people download an app. Well, how are you going to validate that app across 50,000 different types of devices?
Yeah.
How are you going to do all of these, checks and balances and make sure that everyone gets voted and registered and everything else? I was not voting with the Shadow app. It was submitting the results from the Caucus locations. So they would tabulate the votes, put it into the Shadow app, and the Shadow app acted as a database to give the results.
Yeah.
So yes, you're right. You are absolutely right. Skull jumped into my chat here and corrected me on that.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. No, I knew that, and we just started talking, and yeah, they voted with Shadow. No, Shadow was the tabulation and results application.
Yeah.
But the point remains, it shouldn't be this difficult to cast your vote.
Or count it.
Right.
That was the other thing. Well, they were stating that too. It was just so confusing of how to even navigate the app to get the results.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of the other big delays of it. It was just the fact of the back-end code was just wonky, and the biggest complaint too was the authority, the people that had the authority to log in couldn't log in, and so they could never check the data of any kind.
Someone says, "LOL, you trust the U.S. Postal Service." I do trust the Postal Service most of the time, but the ballots are actually at the drop-off locations are actually not collected by the Postal Service. They're actually just the voting agency within the state of Oregon that will collect them via trucks and deliver them to the central location in the county to count them.
Usually it's a lot of volunteers that will do that.
Yeah, so. it's all volunteer, but that's how they do it. Or you can drop it in the mail and you can vote by mail.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's always confuses me why no one
else does this.
that.
Yeah. Because they're trying to reinvent the wheel.
Well, throwing tech at a problem is not always the solution. Sometimes
here's a tire. Let's throw a USB thumb drive on it.
Well, that didn't work.
That didn't work.
Yeah.
But it's USB compatible tires. Oh.
So what if we had like a Bluetooth thing and they could sit outside of the library and they could connect to that with their tablets, and then we could authenticate them, but then only one person could be on that Bluetooth line at a time because it's peer-to-peer. That'd be totally safe, right?
Yeah. It's fine.
Yeah.
They could just check out their books like from outside and that's it. It's so simple.
Right. It's totally cool.
It's what everyone wants.
Yeah. It's what plants crave.
What was that called? Electrolytes?
Yeah. It's got electrolytes.
Electrolytes.
It's what plants crave. I don't know why that popped into my head, but it was the perfect phrase for it.
That movie is actually... I remember when I first watched that movie, I thought it was so stupid, and then you just kind of... Over time, it's slowly becoming a documentary, isn't it? It makes so much sense. It's like, oh my gosh. So true.
You realize we're only 3 presidents away from Terry Crews, right?
Be awesome if Terry Crews actually ran for president.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Oh. And then, like, even just registered and just did a minimal campaign.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, you know the write-ins he would get just for that.
I want to see him on a debate stage. That's what I want to see. Anyway. There's no easy segue into this one. Speaking of technology, how it lets you down.
Well, I was going to say, at least there's like cell phones and apps and something like that.
So, do you use any kind of GPS when you drive? Have a cell phone up?
Yeah. Yes, I usually use Waze.
Waze? Yes.
Waze, whatever. Yeah.
Yep.
That's usually what I use.
Yep.
Or if I'm in a hurry, Google Maps, usually if... Google Maps or Waze is usually one of the two.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, I'm typically on Waze. I was really excited when it finally got integration into... it used to be Apple CarPlay, and then later on it was Android Auto. But I use Waze. I've used Waze for probably 7 or 8 years or so. It's been a while since all the way back when it was like crowdsourced streets and beta testing. It was weird. Anyway, a lot of the traffic data on those mapping services is still crowdsourced. That's how they gather the traffic data. If you've been driving with your cell phone up and all of a sudden you come to a stop in a weird spot, sometimes it'll say, hey, are you experiencing traffic? And you say yes or no. Yeah. And then it records that data and then alerts other drivers,
hey, whatever.
Yeah, maybe you route around this. Well, some... They're saying an artist, and he did this for an art project. There's a longer article, and it's a little weird.
Yeah,
I'm just going to warn you there. But anyway, the Hackaday article dives a little bit more into the technical aspects of what he achieved here. So basically, he wanted to prove how reliant we are on digital technology and that everything can be tricked and whatnot using Google Maps. And so what he did is he decided, I want to trick Google Maps into thinking there's traffic on a particular road, so they will route traffic around my location.
Yeah.
And I want to see it happen in real time. So what he did is he rented 99 Android phones, dumped them in a little red wagon, turned on Android or Google Maps on all of them, and walked down the middle of the road.
Yeah. So basically, because he was walking, the speed that he was going indicated, hey, there's heavy traffic.
Right. Hey,
and there's 99 of you that are experiencing this. So there's got to be heavy traffic.
Right. And it doesn't make sense. 99 cars can't fit on the streets that he was testing this on. At least as far as I know, but lo and behold, all of a sudden, after a couple of minutes, Google Maps turned that part of the map red and then started routing traffic around that location.
Yeah.
The implication of this is potentially causing traffic buildups on other roads because he was fooling the data.
Oh, yeah, I know. I mean, imagine there actually being like some kind of an emergency and an ambulance had to go through that. Because actually part of it, he did walk over a bridge. And crossing through or routing around that bridge was a lot bigger deal.
Yeah.
So, this is very interesting. I mean, it was kind of humorous and cool. I was like, ha ha ha, you can do that.
Right.
But then it made me think, I want to go do this in Portland.
Kind of want to try it.
Yeah, I was like, I kind of want to try it. Let's see how fast they fix this.
But the D, $2 donation, 99 cell phones and a little red wagon. Do.
Yeah. Loose balloons. But yeah, the weird ways that Google Maps then depends on that, and other traffic apps like that depend on that, and then that kind of reroute things. It is kind of dangerous.
Yes. Yeah.
And scary.
Yeah. And so the implications of this is how easily can something like this be fooled to cause traffic to go another direction or to create delays in traffic patterns.
Yeah.
Right or wrong, who cares? But he set out to be, for this to be an art project, but it actually brought up some very interesting talking points on the technology, how we use it, and I guess that was kind of his intent.
Yeah, it is interesting. And then also, I'm just curious of how Google now are they planning on fixing any of this issue? Do they even see this as an issue?
I don't know how they would fix it because their GPS location isn't pulling 100% of the time. It only pulls every so often. Now your phone knows its exact real-time location.
Yeah.
But Google only says, okay, you were on this street at one point.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually track your speed. It tracks increments of you on the road. And so all of a sudden, if there's 99 vehicles that are pulling between a couple of different points, because remember, they're all going to be pinging at different points along his route, then Google's going to go, hey, there's traffic here.
I know. So that's very interesting. I mean, literally, this could happen with just 100 people walking on the sidewalk, so close to the edge.
I'm kind of surprised this hasn't happened with buses before.
Possibly, well, school bus, maybe, but I guess there's probably not 99 of them.
There are also, on a school bus.
There's not 99.
High school bus?
That's what?
70.
That's if every single one of them is using it. And then half of them probably have Apple.
That's
the other
true.
half don't.
That's true, because not all of them are going to have Google Maps pulled up.
Exactly.
Right, okay. That's a fair point.
Now, maybe a double-decker bus, and then everyone's having Android. Sure, I could see that.
Right.
But yeah, you're talking perfect storm then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yeah, interesting stuff.
It was a very interesting article and project the guy did. I thought it was actually more of a prank than anything.
I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
When I first read it, it's like, all right, hats off to everybody.
How did no one else think of this?
Right. Because honestly, why didn't I think of this?
Yeah, right? Wouldn't this have been an awesome,
totally something I would
craft
do.
computing video? All right, let's check this out.
Yeah. Totally something I would have done. Someone points out our beers are empty.
They are.
They are indeed.
So we can either stick with the glasses, try the IPA.
Let's go ahead and jump into the IPA, and then we'll hit the stout.
Okay. Now this is only 11 ounces, so it's not going to be. We'll probably finish quite fast.
Yes.
But I'm assuming we'll probably be sipping on the other one because it is 10%.
Yes. I'm assuming as much. Although it is Guinness Nitro, so it
is not nitro.
Oh, it's not nitro.
It is not nitro.
Interesting.
So it is just regular.
Got me all excited. I thought it was nitro.
No. So this is actually brewed not in the Ireland brewery. This is actually brewed in the Baltimore.
Baltimore, yeah. Look at that.
Look at
Eyeballing it. Eyeballing an odd pour.
Yeah.
So this is modern day IPA from Amundsen Brewery, Ink and Dagger. So there's the
Thank you, Claw.
Yes, thank you, Claw. Ooh.
Yeah, it actually has a pretty decent smell to
it. I have some left. Interesting. The glass is completely different than the can.
Sorry. I didn't mean to say that first.
It's a little bit sweeter. Seriously.
Oh,
yeah. I picked up the can and I went, oh, that's kind of sweet.
Although
I picked up the glass and I went, that's completely different.
I can now pick out the notes that I was tasting in the can more than I can in the glass.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Yep. So that's what high ABV does to Norwegian beer.
Wow, and that finish, holy crap.
Now I know why they don't make it.
I feel like I got punched in the throat.
Right? It's just, what is that? Just dirt?
It's, yeah.
I'm just drinking dirt.
It's very dry. It's very dry. We just got done drinking a cider that I called dry. This has nothing on this. Mm-hmm. My mouth is actually drying out drinking this.
I kind of get like dandelions.
Weed.
Weed. Not like smoking, but weeds, grass, and dirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really kind of...
Like eating grass as a kid.
Yes, that's kind of where it's still all...
It's very earthy.
Earthy.
It's very earthy.
Extremely earthy, and this is an IPA. Yeah. I didn't know anything about this, so...
Broccoli?
Yeah, raw broccoli.
Raw broccoli.
Yeah.
Yeah. More so than dandelion. I'm going to give it the benefit of calling it broccoli.
Yeah, I like broccoli. Actually, broccoli beer.
I had broccoli this evening.
Yeah, broccoli. I'll give it that to you.
Yeah.
Better than Bud Light Orange. Yeah. I'll drink this over Bud Light Orange.
I'll still drink this over Bud Light Orange. Yeah. Whew.
Making me look forward to this even
definitely.
more than I was.
Claw, you poor man.
Yeah, I really hope you
all I
don't
can
drink
say.
this all the time. So there's some AMD news that we should get into.
Yes. So we've all been waiting for, we've been waiting for Navi for years and years, and it was all, wait for Navi. Polaris is okay, but wait for Navi. And then Navi arrived, and we kind of went, it's all right. It's all right. It's, the 5700 XT, it's performing very well for $399. It's performing better than the 2070 and matching a 2070 Super for $100 or $150 more. It's a good card. It's a very good card, but it also has some driver bugs. It's got a couple of things that some people aren't happy with. And then the two lower cards, the 55 and the 5600, they're just kind of like,
Yeah.
They're slotted appropriately. They're fighting with the cards that are around them, but the market is segmented as such right now that it's really not like beating anything above it. Like a 5600 XT kind of beats a 2060 Super, but not really.
Yeah, you'll just spend that little bit extra for the less inconvenience of the driver's issue.
Right.
And
So the release has been like, Navi's like, it's good, but it's not great, and it's not everything we wanted. And it still tops out at that 5700 XT, that GTX 1080/Ti kind of level, where we were wanting an NVIDIA killer. We were expecting and desiring something that would topple the almighty throne of NVIDIA. And we just haven't had that yet. Now, this is Navi 10, which is the smaller of the dies that they're going to be using. Navi 21 is Big Navi. That's the Navi that everyone goes, oh, Big Navi's the one to wait for now.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting on bated breath. I want it to be an NVIDIA killer simply because I want AMD to do the same thing to NVIDIA that AMD's been doing to Intel this year.
Yeah.
And I want competition in the market again because that's where things get fun.
Yes.
And we just haven't.
Especially the ads.
Yeah, and we just haven't had that in the GPU space in so long. As far as true top to bottom competition, AMD's got the under $400 price point. There's competition throughout. You could make the argument to buy any card under $500, and I'd go, yeah, that's a good argument.
Yeah.
AMD or NVIDIA, it doesn't matter. But as far as above $500, well, there's the Radeon 7 that NVIDIA or that AMD discontinued 4 months into its life and was a good card, had 16 gigs of HBM memory and really did perform well, but it was also $800 and it also performed worse than NVIDIA's $800 cards. It's like, too little too late. But Big Navi is the big one.
That's the one that's going to do it.
That's the one that's going to be a GTX or an RTX 2080 Ti killer. It's going to be the one that finally brings competition and maybe for like $900 has something that'll beat the $1,100 NVIDIA card.
It's going to explode the 4K gaming.
Yes. But we knew it was coming. My predictions have always been Computex of this year. We'll probably see something, whether or not it's a paper launch or whether or not it's an announcement. I didn't think we'd actually be seeing physical cards by the time Computex rolled around. Well, I may not be completely accurate with that. Because there's supposedly been a very large Navi-based GPU that has recently cleared Korean regulation, basically the FCC of Korea.
Yeah.
And has documents filed.
Not North.
Not North Korea, South Korea, Seoul. Based on an unknown ATI Technologies based graphics card. Why they're calling it ATI still, I have no idea. But they submitted for approval a graphics card with a brand new model number on February 3rd, and it has received its approval. So it can now be sold in Korea. This is kind of big news because usually certification of all these different agencies, CE certification, FCC certification, it comes very, very close to the launch window.
Yeah.
They don't certify this thing 8 months in advance. They certify it like 3 weeks before the advance or before the launch. Now, I will say, as someone with some contacts, I have heard nothing from any board partners. I've heard nothing from AMD themselves. I don't think it's coming like this month. I don't think it's coming in March. Late March announcement?
Maybe March, possibly. Is it May the earliest or the latest?
Based on this getting certification in Korea, we might have cards in hand maybe like May 1st.
Yeah. So,
which could be very, very interesting for Computex, especially if AMD has gone, here's what we have.
Yep.
NVIDIA, your move. You can have Computex. Here, we're doing it early.
Yeah, it could be.
That could be a very interesting move.
I had to point out, Skull put the description of this beer up, and it is something, but I do love, it states tropical grass flavor.
Oh.
So we at least nailed that on the head.
Ink and Dagger, can you taste that hop oil slithering down the back of your throat? Can you smell that intense lupulin blast from the bottom of your glass? We turned the volume up to 10 and broke the speaker. Our loudest beer buried in the mound of hoppy goodness. Think wet tropical grass, pineapple, and mango freshness all crammed into the self-proclaimed hop bomb.
I don't get pineapple. I don't get mango. I don't get freshness.
No.
But it is a bomb. Just not a good one.
So I've talked about this before. The way I do reviews is not going, oh, that's awful, or oh, that's the best beer I've ever had in my life. I do the same thing with tech reviews. I don't plug in a device and go, wow, it is the best thing I've ever seen in my life, A+, and anything below 2080 Ti performance gets a C or lower.
Yeah.
It's not the way reviews work. I base it, number one, on price. Price is probably my number one sticking point for how I start a review. If I were to spend, $80 on a case or $400 on a graphics card or $3 on a beer, where that's where my scale starts.
Yeah.
And so for that money, how am I satisfied?
Exactly. Yeah.
And I always put myself into the mindset of, if someone is making this, there's a market for it. And even if I'm not the target market, I'm going to imagine I am. And am I happy with that purchase? And so that's a lot of my thought process that goes into this kind of review. Coming back to the beer. I also base on whether or not your marketing material is accurate. That's another huge criteria in a lot of my reviews, is I read your marketing material and I base a lot of judgment on that reflected in the price. And so if it's a $12 item and you're going, it's the most revolutionary, blah, 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 and I go, yeah, it does what it does. Cool, $12. That works for me. If it's $700 and it's the most revolutionary thing ever, and there's panel gaps in the build, and it feels like it's made from like
cheap plastic,
Chinesium plastic, and it it doesn't work and it doesn't stand up straight, and
they cut corners and they're still pricing it at $700.
Right, then you're going to get marked down. So that's how my reviews work. Reading the marketing material. Can you taste that hop oil slithering down the back of your throat? Well, let's try. I taste sour broccoli. I taste a little bit of earthiness, like almost like dirt.
Yep.
Like I ate sand.
Yeah.
I get a little bit of something fruity. I can't call it mango, passion fruit, guava, pineapple, orange, mandarin
tropical.
Orange, anything remotely citrusy or tropical.
Yeah.
I can't call it that. If I had to call it something, kiwi?
I don't know.
Kiwi?
That's
maybe?
Maybe, but... Maybe.
Yeah.
It's more like rotten fruit.
Yeah.
It is more like if there was. Oh yeah. It's
and not like a fermented fruit.
Yeah,
a rotten fruit.
It's a rotten fruit.
Right.
And then the tropical grass. What does tropical grass taste like?
Well, it'd be like that straw grass.
Yeah. Is it? Or is it
like reeds?
Reeds, or is it supposed to be like dewgrass and what are those?
Well, it's what Norway interprets as tropical grass.
Yeah, I was just saying. So yeah, I don't know.
Which is, what is that, like London Canal? Yeah.
Yeah, this tastes like swamp.
Mm-hmm.
This tastes like swamp beer. Mm-hmm. So, I do like the can of it.
Yeah, people pay $60,000 for panel gaps on a Tesla. And that's because the Tesla itself is still really good. And it gets criticized for having panel gaps. That's one of the main criticisms, is the fit and finish of every Tesla is not perfect. There are companies devoted to fixing panel gaps on Teslas.
Yeah.
Where if you bring it in and you give us $8,000, we'll fix all the panel gaps in your Tesla for you. That's a market. The thing is, the Tesla performs so far beyond the expectations of someone spending $60,000 on a car. People are fine spending that $60,000 mark on that particular car. And so while there are problems, and there's going to be problems with every single product out there, it gets a pass because it's still better than what you'd get for $60,000 elsewhere.
Yeah.
So maybe the grass had dog piss on it? You know, actually, you're not that far off. Loving the tropical grass, man.
Yeah, maybe it is that tropical grass.
It's not the tropical grass I'm smelling.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is just weird.
I mean, we've had worse.
We've had worse. We've had far worse. We've had beers we can't finish. I could finish this.
I could finish this.
6 ounces is going to be my limit.
Oh, yeah.
I would not drink more than that.
I would probably not drink this whole can. This is... So it was a debate between this and a hazy that I was going to bring. So, and I was like...
Norwegian hazy?
A Norwegian hazy. And I was like, I want to see what they can do just with the regular IPA.
Yeah, let's start
right. Now I have even less confidence in that hazy.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe next time.
Tesla should be criticized for high manufacturing costs because they don't know how to build cars. No, it's that they don't have the factory experience yet necessary for the level of precision they're trying to achieve. If you look at Honda, you look at Subaru, you look at Nissan, you look at Toyota, you look at BMW, Mercedes, you know, you look at very, very well-respected manufacturing techniques across the board, where you look at every single one, top to bottom of someone's cars, their entire product stack, and you go, they know how to build cars well. Where, you know, materials may drop off in quality, but the precision does not.
Yeah.
And
they've been doing it for years.
And there's only like 8 or 10 of those car brands out there. And so,
I mean, yeah, even if you get some Italian sports cars, there's panel gaps in them. You paid six digits plus.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
And again, that comes with building something from hand. That comes from low quantity car manufacturers, and they're still criticized for that. Bugatti is criticized for having panel gaps. Yeah. Lamborghini is criticized for having panel gaps in some of their non-mass market cars. You know, where you have the LP640s and the Murcielagos and things like that, and the Huracans, but then you get like their extreme versions of their cars. And all of a sudden it's like, ooh, this one has a little bit of shade to it.
This one's technically a quarter of an inch off.
And it's because they're hand built.
Yeah.
And they're one-off cars. And they get criticized for it, but at the same time, they get a pass because there's nothing else like that car on the market. So it's hard to, well, I'm just going to go out and buy this one instead.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist. I guess Murcielago is one of their high-end cars, but whatever.
Yeah. Well, even those are probably still hand built, and I'm betting there's gaps in them or other issues on top of it.
Right. And trust me, I've criticized the hell out of the Nissan Leaf and the Chevy Spark and some other, you know, lower end electric vehicles for being literally a $12,000 car that they charge $30,000 for because it has an electric drivetrain.
Yeah, they're like, oh, this is the first one, and it's their marketing campaign of it being revolutionary, kind of like you were talking about,
right?
Well, there's revolutionary, and you're going to get 52 miles to the gallon, right. And with the new e-charge,
yeah,
the
Chevy Spark is, I believe, brand new at retail, an $11,500 car, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's somewhere around $11,500 for their base model Chevy Spark. That's a 1.2 liter engine with either a CVT or a 5-speed manual transmission. Doesn't even have electric locks. It's a manual lock, manual crank window. You get Bluetooth on a little motorcycle odometer, and that's all you get.
Yeah.
And then you can spend up to like $15,000 or $16,000 on one a well-equipped Chevy Spark. But then they have the electric Chevy Spark, the Chevy Spark EV, which is $30,000.
Yeah.
It's the same vehicle. They just replaced the engine and transmission with electric motors and lithium batteries. And I'm sorry, that's not worth that jump. And you're still getting the same quality materials. So you're spending $30,000 on what is a $12,000 car. And so that one doesn't get the pass because there's other $30,000 cars that are not electric that I would much rather own.
Yeah. Well, it's the illusion of you're helping the environment when technically it costs more to make that car. It hurt more to make that car.
Right.
But, yeah. So, yeah, you know what?
I don't know how we even got into that rant.
I don't know.
But that was a good conversation.
Rant count. But there's some more AMD news.
Yes. So if you've been following a lot of the AMD EPYC SKUs, Asus mistakenly announced 4 brand new ones this week.
Yeah, that no one's even ever heard of any of them.
Yeah. So these are brand new 7002, so second generation EPYC 7 nanometer SKUs that Asus released as being compatible with their firmware.
Yeah.
Now the thing is, these SKUs haven't existed anywhere else before. So these are likely brand new SKUs that AMD is going to be coming out with. Now we don't have any price points, but we do have some names and some speculation on what the actual specs are going to be. We also do have confirmed the core counts of what these SKUs are going to be.
Yeah, they range from like 8 to 64.
Right. So they have a brand new 8, 16, 32, and 64 core 7002 based CPU. We'll start with the 8 core all the way down at the bottom here. The 7F32. I don't understand EPYC's naming scheme for a lot of their SKUs because it's just flippin' weird. But anyway, so it's going to be an 8-core, 16-thread, 3.7 gigahertz base clock with 128 megabytes of L3 cache. So this is actually a significant upgrade to their existing 8-core SKUs, which are 3.2 gigahertz and 3.1 gigahertz base, both with 128 and 64 megs of L3 cache, respectively. But this also ups the wattage significantly up to 180 watts. So this is going to be a higher single-threaded performance EPYC second-gen CPU.
Yeah.
So kind of exciting there. And again, unknown price point. Moving on to the 7F52, a 16-core, 32-thread, 3.5 gigahertz. The interesting thing about this one is the leap in the 16-core up to 256 megabytes of L3 cache. As kind of proven with Ryzen with Zen 2 architecture, that L3 cache is really a huge benefit to a lot of single-threaded applications. It helps keep all the memory organized between those Zen cores and eliminate any latency or bottlenecking within a core from over here trying to reach the memory that's attached to a different core. And this is going to be a 240 watt TDP CPU.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
It's a toasty boy,
yeah,
as they say. And again, no price known on this one, but that is certainly one to keep an eye on because all of the existing 16-core SKUs fall well below this. 155 watts is the next highest at a 3 gigahertz base clock, and only 128 megs of L3 cache. Their base model 16-core only has 64 megs of L3 cache. So this is a very significant upgrade to that level of horsepower.
But then you might have to buy a new cooler.
You may have to buy a new cooler, or actually these are probably meant for 2U applications, I would imagine. So just a really nice copper base plate with a bunch of fins, and then blow as much air as you possibly can through it. as you will see in my Dell 7610 video coming out shortly. Those Tesla GPUs I bought, those are passive. You got to get air through them.
Jeff's just there with an air can. Come on, go! I hope that's the video.
That won't be the video, but that is one way I tested them. In part 2 of that video, I actually I thermally shut down the system a couple times while I was testing it because there just wasn't enough air moving from the front of the chassis through the GPUs and out the back of the system. And it's because it's monitoring CPU temperature, and the CPUs are going, I'm fine. I'm sitting here like 32C. What do you want from me? And I'm like, I need more air. and even turning up the fans to high in the BIOS wouldn't turn them up. So I have a very clever solution for turning the fans up to 100% all the time. And now that server runs at 100% full bore on the fans all the time. On like 80 millimeter, like this thick in industrial Delta fans. It's a little loud now.
Oh.
But my GPUs stay at like 45C. So there's something to be said for the method that I used. Anyway, they have a new 32-core SKU, which again is interesting because, again, they made the jump from 128 megs to 256. 200 watt TDP at a 2.4 gigahertz base clock, unknown boost, in the 7532. They also have a brand new 64-core SKU, which is actually coming in at the bottom of their 64-core SKUs that they've already had. This is the 7662, which is a 200 watt, 2 gigahertz base, again with 256 megs of L2 cache, or L3 cache, excuse me. All of these have unknown prices.
Yeah.
And unknown availability, when they'll be out. Is this going to be a March announcement, or are they just going to kind of like drop these? Typically, refreshes and new product SKUs like this, they don't hold press conferences. They just go, "Hey, we have 4 new product SKUs
There you
available."
go. Yeah.
But Asus seems to have leaked this just a little bit early.
Yeah, and you can see the price points. I mean, you could probably get a pretty good guess of where they're.
You can guess where they're going to be.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably going to only be like $100 off.
Yeah.
So.
One thing I will say is I have looked at building myself either an 8 or a 16 core EPYC server. I'm trying to find some used first generation EPYC CPUs and an affordable motherboard for them. The affordable motherboard is where I'm hanging up. I actually found a 16 core EPYC 2 gigahertz chip for $290 on eBay the other day. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I spent $380 on the first 12-core Intel Xeon engineering sample that I bought for my X99 rig back when I started this channel.
I remember that video.
Yeah, and I had actually bought that CPU a year before I started the channel. I've been crazy long before all this started. Yeah, I paid $380 for like a very not official thing on a hope and a prayer that it would work in the board that I bought, and it just so happened to do that, and I got great, multi-threaded performance out of it. We're talking 16 cores, 32 threads at 2 gigahertz now at sub $300 pricing for an official SKU that's only a year out of date. Like,
yeah, I know. You got lucky on that on that purchase.
And honestly, from like a home lab perspective, for someone in the mid tier of like server ranges, if you consider what I paid for my dual Xeon system that I run right now for Proxmox, which is also dual 8 core, so 16 core, 32 thread. I spent $199 on the motherboard, and then I think I spent. Well, right now I have 2650 V1s in there, so they're 8 cores, and they were only about $50 a piece. But I've done 2680s and 2670 V2s, which are 10 cores, and those are still $150, $200 a piece. Honestly, EPYC is the cheaper of those versions right now. And that's just crazy to me that a CPU that's less than 18 months old is now less than $300 on the used market, and you could build that up to almost double your performance of that particular box. So I've been looking at trying to figure out how to do that.
You got a big spoon, but technically it's for me.
Yep.
He wants me to spit on the floor like I do on my channel and somehow sneak in a boop. But not for $499.
$499 doesn't buy you a booth.
Yeah, $499 doesn't get me to spit on Jeff's floor.
No, especially because the rug's on his side.
Yeah, I know.
That would just piss me off. And 100% agree with Civil. Civil Bro is amazing. What did Civil say? I missed what Civil said. I have a Grid K1 who wants to buy it. Ooh. Why would I need 8 GPUs on a single die that only run at like 200 megahertz? Like a Grid K1's a cool card. I'd put it on my shelf, but I don't know that I'd have a use for it. What did Civil say? Where's Civil at? I don't see him. Oh well.
Epic.
Something about Epic, yeah.
Yeah, I just said epic. That's the last thing I see.
Anyway, Big Bigger agrees with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Epic.
Probably something about Epic, but anyway, one last AMD news, and this one is actually from ASRock. So ASRock makes my favorite X299 board of all time.
These are cool.
And it is the X299 Mini-ITX.
Oh, yeah.
It is a crazy compact board with 4 SODIMM slots that will take up to an 18-core i9 CPU. It'll take up to a 10980XE if you want to throw it in there. It has very beefy VRM. It has 3 M.2 NVMe slots, 2 of which are vertical and 1 of which is on the back of the board. Supports up to 64 gigs of ECC memory in a SODIMM package, and there's only one company that makes certified memory for it, and I believe it's Crucial. Makes 2666 SODIMM ECC memory. You can also get 64 gigs of just standard SODIMM laptop memory, similar to the iMac Pro or the Mac Mini uses. And it's just a cool all-around board. Plus, it has built-in Wi-Fi. Has a PCI Express X16 slot, so you can add a full-size video card. Has a ton of SATA options on it. And I've always been a little underwhelmed with a lot of AMD's Mini-ITX offerings. Because they typically only have 2 desktop DIMMs on them, which means I'm maxing out at 32 gigs of RAM. And I've always wanted to build like this beefy
little box.
A lot of power crammed into a small space is a very sweet spot in my heart. And I've built a number of ITX systems over the years and whatnot. And I've always tried to like miniaturize technology as much as I could. That's just something that just speaks to me on like a deep philosophical level. But they always have only 2 desktop DIMM slots, which max out at 32 gigs. So it's like, I can get 32 gigs in just about anything. That's not special. And you know, it's like, I could put like a high-end CPU in it, but then I'm going to be either capped out for memory or capped out for bandwidth or capped out for expansion or whatever.
There's a lot of bottlenecks.
Right, there's a lot of different things that it's like, I could put 16 cores in it, but I couldn't utilize them because I couldn't use enough of those cores. ASRock to the rescue once again with a brand new X570 D4i2T, a Mini-ITX X570 board with, count them, not 1 but 2 10 gigabit NICs on board, Intel NICs even, so they will work inside of Linux. 4 SODIMM slots, so you can put up to 64 gigs of memory on an ITX board. Still has that X16 slot. I believe it has 2 M.2 NVMEs, 1 on the front and 1 on the rear. Is that right? No, I'm only seeing the 1. Yeah, seems they only put 1 NVMe on it. But support up to a 3950X CPU. So 16 cores, 32 threads, in a tiny little package that, I want this thing.
I was going to say, this would be a fun video to see.
I want this thing so bad. Now, if their X299 mini board is any, or their X299i as they call it, is any indication, it's going to be a spendy board. That board is $400. I think it was $499 at one point, and I would imagine this is going to come in pretty similar.
That's a little bit of a deterrent.
Yeah. Now, the output on the back of the board is not all that great. It's only got 1 USB 3.0 and, one USB 3.0 internal header, 2 USB 3.1 type A on on the rear. So there's not a lot of like USB expansion. So don't plan on plugging like 30 different USB peripherals into this thing.
Yeah, try not to have a gaming keyboard and a gaming mouse, and you're then done.
There is only one M.2 NVMe/SATA SSD. There are 8 SATA ports on board this thing, so you can load it up with SATA drives if you wanted.
What case is going to have 8 SATA drives for that little thing?
Right.
I mean, that just totally defeats the purpose of this board.
Yeah. And those are even on breakouts. That's your SATA breakout.
Oh. Let's load this image. So this is like dial-up.
I know.
Although, hang on. There we go.
Yeah, that's your SATA breakout right there. So, it's interesting. There's no 24-pin header on this. There's an 8 and 2 4s. I didn't notice that at first. There's no 24-pin header on this board. That's interesting. I wonder if this is using Intel's new standard. Because they were trying to eliminate the 24-pin. I bet this is one of Intel's new standards.
Oops.
That would be quite interesting. F11.
There it is.
Yeah, I bet that's what they're doing. All right, who's yelling at me now? 199 Spoon. Who's Michael? Did he sign for your package today? I do have a mailbox. I didn't go buy the mailbox today. It'll probably be tomorrow. So I'll pick up the package tomorrow. Thank you, Spoon, in advance for what I'm sure will be an interesting open off camera.
Oh, Spoon sent you something.
Yeah, Spoon sent me something.
Without telling you?
Yes.
What it is?
He just said, hey, my name is X, and I sent you a package. And I went, oh boy, I've been warned. I've been warned about receiving packages.
No, see, what you should do is make sure the camera's on, if it is interesting.
Discord?
Or Discord, yeah.
I'll throw it on Discord.
Throw it on Discord.
I'll throw it on Discord.
Spoon's on there.
I might even live stream to Discord tomorrow if I get the opportunity.
There you go.
So, maybe. I'm not promising anything. I may even pre-inspect the package.
There you go. So if you want to check that out, you're gonna have to subscribe to Jeff's Discord, because it's a minimum of at least $1, but you can always do more, and that gets you exclusive access to Jeff, myself, Rhett, Steve, the other guys from Talking Heads. There are just a huge community on Jeff's channel. We talk tech, we talk cars, we talk social media, pop culture. We have meme GIF wars, not GIF, GIF. We even have GIF GIF wars. Of just the subject of what is that called.
Yeah.
There is a whole channel dedicated to just communication and networking. There is a buying, trade, sell area. I mean, there's a what kind of car do you drive? Mechanical chat room. And every single one is actually really extremely active. I don't think you even dropped in subscribers.
Right. No,
So.
it's... I get a couple who drop out every once in a while, but I think we're up to 150 at this point.
Yeah, I think actually more than that.
And I'm not just saying this. This is the most active Discord that I am a part of.
Yeah.
And I owe it to the community. You know,
Yeah.
I'm in there as much as I possibly can be, and I do enjoy chatting with everyone. If you ping me, I will answer.
Yeah.
Period.
No, if you basically ping almost 90% of the people here, will respond, and even just the host, we'll respond as fast as we can.
Yep.
Jeff, Steve, or I, or Rhett, one of us is usually on 24 hours a day.
Yes. Yep. So, if you like this show and you want to keep it going all week long, sign up for the Discord, Patreon, down in the video description below.
Yes.
All right. Enough self-plugging there. Let's get to the good one. Oh, that finish.
Yep.
Oh, not good.
So delicious.
Not good.
Thank you, Claw.
Claw, I love you, bro, but come on, bro.
Well,
You're better than this.
Well, although, I mean, it was an experience from over there.
It was an experience. Oh my god.
Oh man.
Oh wow.
Comparative.
Compared to that last one, this is wow.
Pleasant.
Yes. Remember how I described that one beer to Chuck that one time? There was a bourbon barrel aged beer that I described to Chuck, and I made him basically double over.
I don't remember that, but that'd be. You can tell me later because I already
I'll tell you later because it's not appropriate on the show.
Oh, that smells good.
But I have a way with words. Oh man. So this is again Guinness stock ale aged in bourbon bullet bourbon barrels, and this is a 50% stout, 50% barley wine.
Yes.
Barrel aged.
Yeah, both of those were barrel aged.
Yes. So 10% ABV.
Yeah.
And you can smell all of that.
Oh yeah, roasty, chocolatey with notes of sweet dark fruit.
Mm-hmm.
Although the head is kind of thin.
Yeah, for a Guinness, I'm a little disappointed that it's not.
And I can actually technically see light. It's very hard, but I can see light through.
Yeah,
it.
no, there's refraction coming straight through it.
So it's not super thick either. I wonder how much barley wine stout.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right. Cheers. Not what I was expecting.
It's good. I'm gonna stop there. It's good.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. Way thinner.
Way thinner. Like even barley wine, stout, and then 10% already triggers my head.
I'm expecting like cut it with a knife.
Yeah. I want some leggings on this glass.
Very thin bodied.
Yeah.
Very thin bodied.
There's nothing. I mean, other than the foam.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no clinginess.
There's roastiness. There's there's a lot of aromatics, and there are flavors that easily come in there, but they almost dissipate as fast as that body is thin.
Right. There's nothing that sticks. There's nothing that sticks with the flavor the whole way.
Yeah.
It's just this really quick transition from like a dark roast into a barley wine into like a dark chocolate. But it's so light bodied, you don't really get to experience it all.
Yeah, it doesn't like coat your tongue or leave anything lingering. Right. Yeah, I get roasty barley wine, chocolate dipped fig.
Right.
Kind of is what I get.
No, I think that's dead on. But it's a very quick evolution, and nothing stays there.
It's bubbly too.
Yeah.
Pretty high carbonated.
Yeah, that was kind of surprising. This drinks like a porter.
Yeah, like
it does not drink like a bourbon barrel aged barley wine stout.
Yeah. Okay.
It's interesting.
It is interesting. Oh, as far as all three that we had,
Yep.
So
okay. Describe each room on the Discord, Big Spoon. We have rooms for just about everything. There's car chat, there's TV and movie chat, there's sports chat, there's
food and beverage chat.
There's a buy and sell page, both for posting sale links, like, hey, I found a great deal on Newegg or Amazon, or hey, I'm selling something myself. I'm getting rid of this motherboard. Does anyone want it? There's networking help. There's computer build and overclocking help.
There's the personal, hey, this is the Talking Heads chat room. If you're part of the Discord, this is the room you want to be in during the live shows.
Yep.
There's the general chat area of where the newbies come and just, hey, here's what I'm experiencing issues with. Anyone else have that? Or check this out, just random stuff.
Yep.
So it's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in there. There's a dedicated gaming channel in there, and we have weekly gaming.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Is like I almost have to turn that off just because I don't have time for this.
Yeah.
But yeah,
stop tempting me to play Counter-Strike.
Yeah, there's just a bunch of that. There was a lot of Counter-Strike. There was a lot of oh gosh, what was the one that we talked about yesterday? The soccer one.
Rocket League.
Rocket League.
Yeah.
Tons of Rocket League was always on there a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah. And then there's one that's basically just pure, this is funny, I found this article funny, or memes, or GIFs, videos, whatever, something funny, humorous. We have a music one dedicated just for music talk.
Mm-hmm. There we go. Anyway, sorry, another donation. Techno Tim, $2. Thanks for helping me out on Twitter today. You are very welcome, sir. So I haven't been familiar with your videos, but I know you do post some stuff. So yeah, cheers, buddy.
Cheers on that.
I was just making sure, in fact, you had a page and it auto-played. So you got like 3 seconds of audio in my live stream there. So
$2 get to 3 seconds.
That's right. Don't copyright strike me. Yeah, exactly. But no, good to talk to you, man.
All right, so let's go some more Chinese news.
Yes.
And that's more. Technically, this is the only Chinese news we have today.
That's right. This one seemed right up my alley, and I actually already tried to buy one.
Did you?
I did. I got on the Taobao, and I was so totally ready to buy this. But I'm in this weird state right now, and I didn't want to spend the money today, especially with the dollar amount this came in at. So we'll get into that. We'll get into it. So this is Zhaoxin, I believe is how you pronounce it. Zhaoxin.
Zhaoxin.
Is a Chinese company, Chinese OEM, who is making a 100% Chinese-made x86 compatible CPU. And they're embedding it into a motherboard. Now, the reason that's relevant is that's what Intel and AMD CPUs are. This is standard PC hardware. This isn't ARM. This isn't a weird offshoot of something like that. This is literally pop a USB key in and install whatever you want onto it. Very much like Cyrix and VIA and companies like that were back in the day, where they were also x86 CPUs, but they weren't AMD or Intel. So Zhaoxin is hitting the market with their KX6000 series of processors up to 8 cores. 8 cores at 2.7 gigahertz. The first of which is going to be available on the C1888 motherboard. It is an embedded product, so it's not a socketed CPU. It is a BGA soldered directly to the board itself. It's going to come with a couple of SODIMM sockets on it that run standard DDR4 up to 3200 megahertz. It's got some SATA ports. It's got a couple of M.2 ports. It's got a full X16 PCI Express 3.0 slot. It's got onboard graphics. It's got dual gigabit LAN. It's a pretty well-featured board.
Well, they're on board, yeah.
So there was some early... Someone got a hold of this early and has actually done some benchmarking with it and found that in multi-threaded performance, it's about on par with an i5-7400. So a couple generations back...
But...
Well, I guess for Intel, an i5-9400.
Yeah. XXX.
10-9400.
Yeah.
It's about compatible with a 4-core, 4-threaded versus an 8-core, 8-threaded. As far as multi-threaded performance goes. So it's not a world beater despite its 4.7 gigahertz clock. It's a 70 watts TDP CPU, so it's probably a little bit higher in wattage, but this is kind of a first attempt for them.
It's a first attempt, sounds pretty good, but then you're obviously thinking again, kind of what you were saying, price. What did you find this price to be then? Because I didn't see any price on this article, so I didn't invest. You found something else to dig about with that?
No, I'm avoiding the price.
Oh. Yeah. Obviously, then by the price, it's probably...
Does anyone have a guess to what one of these boards would have cost me?
Are we talking importing cost or...
I'm just talking...
What is average? I mean, is there any upsell for importing?
Getting on the Taobao, or in my case, through a buying agent, which can buy it at retail, and then they will pay the shipping charges, and then usually add about 5 to 10% for them to export it through China Post and whatnot. So not a huge markup at all.
So you should be getting it same price.
But the retail cost of the board is what I had estimated for me. I didn't have shipping estimated, which probably would have been about $60, give or take.
Yeah, overseas.
For someone to physically go pick it up at the Shenzhen Mall, come back, drop it in the post, insure it.
You don't want it bubble wrapped with no static.
Well, that's how I got the RX 470.
Just like that, just bubble wrap. Here you go.
Yeah.
Which didn't that post? That worked, right?
Oh yeah, those totally worked after I cleaned the living crap out of it.
I remember that.
God, my desk is still stained from that video. Just black marks all over that thing.
It's like glitter.
My hands were stained for 2 weeks. I'm not even joking.
Once you have it, it's just it never goes away.
I should have worn gloves. I took 6 years off my life for your enjoyment. Someone hit it in chat.
I'm assuming the middle. Whoa, no way. Okay. Okay, hang on. Someone's hit it in chat.
Someone hit it. Yeah.
$4.99.
Nope.
No, it's the six.
$650.
$650. Oh, okay.
$650. Yeah, John Jay guessed it right. $650 for an ITX board with an 8-core 70-watt CPU integrated in. If this was $299, I would have bought it because my view count would have supported that level of unless I get 700,000 views off this video, which even for a lot of my Chinese stuff is well exceeding what I do. Like my Chinese stuff, I can usually hope for a couple 100,000 when I do the Chinese motherboards or the dual socket build or something like that. And my server stuff, I can usually count on lifetime hitting, a $200,000 mark or a 200,000 mark. $200,000. Oh hell yeah. Yes. Right, but I'm looking at like a cost for return because I'm not going to use this part, and I'm still in the YouTuber state where, for me to really expend a lot of money, it has to be something that I'm still going to use. It has to be an investment for me, either personally or for the channel.
Or at least you can turn around and with minimal loss.
Right, with minimal loss, be able to sell it or whatever else. I've done that with a couple of different parts where I'm like, it's $700, but I can sell it for $650 after I do the video.
Exactly.
It's totally cool.
Yeah.
And I've bought video cards and I've bought processors and I've done things like that. $650 for what is essentially a Chinese market CPU and motherboard that I would benchmark and tell you it's underwhelming but kind of encouraging. And then what would I do with it?
Yeah.
I could do one or two videos out of this because there's only so much performance and benchmarks that you guys want to see out of an i5-7400 at this point.
And how could you even get rid of it or try to sell it?
Right.
Be have you heard of this brand?
Right. Do I put it into a computer and charge $1,200 for it and go, it has an 8-core processor?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I'm featured on a Greg Salazar video for overmarking something. And then I've got to file a lawsuit, and no one wants that.
Although then, no press is technically bad press, or whatever.
That's what they say. So $650. Now, I'm not sure if this is still technically in the prototyping stage, and I'm assuming that price is going to come down significantly. It all depends on where it comes down to. I want one of these. I want one on my channel. I want to review one of these. But it all depends on, is it actually affordable? And that's going to be part of the review is, once it actually hits retail. Because, like I said, these are still prototype stage boards.
Yeah.
You can buy them and you can tinker around with them, but the support is very, very limited. But once they go, okay, we're actually going to sell a PC with these, or we're going to sell the parts and we're going to have full driver stacks for them and fully supported. And it's going to be $270. I'm on board. I'll buy one. We will have one on this channel. $650. I'm out.
Maybe that's what Big Spoon said.
Yeah.
Cross your fingers.
That's right. Unless someone wants to sponsor one, then I'll totally review it. Yeah. If I don't get a boop tonight, I'm leaving. Well, that's right. John's a cheap boop.
He didn't say it. Boop. Ha ha.
I said boop the second I hit your nose.
I didn't hear it.
I said John's a cheap...
Rewind it.
I said John's a cheap boop.
And then you hit my nose.
That's the boop.
That's not the boop. You gotta go boop, boop. Whatever. There, you got two boops technically out of us.
Yeah.
So now you have to give him a new Chinese motherboard.
Yeah. $650 plus an NDA. No, there was no NDA. This was literally for sale on the retail Taobao. So I could buy it through a buying agent and I could have it here in 2 weeks. And I seriously considered it even at that price. But I went, what's the cost to return in my channel? Am I going to make enough money in revenue from the channel to make up that price point? And it's iffy. I've already spent way too much on this damn cloud streaming server that I'm trying to build. Do you guys realize I'm into that thing like $1,300?
Wasn't that supposed to be like a budget thing?
It was supposed to be a budget like 6-gamer thing, and it turned into like a really expensive 4-gamer thing. Right.
You can play 6 games on $400 worth of networking parts.
Yeah, and at this, yeah.
And
I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to spoil it. There is a payoff to this. Don't worry. There is a payoff to this server. But yeah, I bought that simply for the lulz, and it exploded into something that's far bigger than I anticipated. So, yeah. All right. Google had a bit of a faux pas this week.
Yeah, this is kind of actually pretty big mess up. I've never used this app.
The Takeout.
The Takeout app.
Takeout app. So Google Takeout is meant to be if you are migrating your Google service to someone else.
Yeah.
And is a full download of your entire Google profile. It is all of your photos and videos. It is all of your Drive data. It's all of your Google Docs and Sheets and slides. Excuse me.
It's basically all your media stuff.
Right. It's also your GPS tag data. It's all of your tracking and advertiser history. It's everything that Google has ever collected on you. You can download it into a zip file and you can do with it what you will. And it's typically meant for someone who is closing a Google account so they can migrate that account to someone else.
Yeah.
Anyway, so back in November, apparently if you use Google Hangout during about a 6-day period, your Hangout your takeout was either A, sent to someone else by mistake, or B, readily available on an HTML website in which someone could download your entire Google contents.
Yes.
Both of those happened.
Yes. Actually, to a lot of people. Basically, almost everyone.
Yeah.
And
everyone who used that particular service during that particular
time. Yeah. Now I don't remember seeing that it said all of it. They just said some of it was for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it from November 21st through November 25th. Basically, you would receive, if you sat there and clicked, I want to download your Takeout, you might have only received half of your information, and the other half could have been from someone else.
Yeah.
And vice versa and everything else. So,
including your entire picture library, video library.
Let's just hope you didn't have any of those honeymoon pictures on
right.
there, you know?
Or as Linus says, the lewds of your wife on your lunch break.
Yeah. All of
he said that in a video today. That's not me saying that. That's just something he said, and I'm
quote. All of those. Show me your last meme. Whatever.
Right. That's all they're gonna get on my phone.
Yeah.
Memes and dick pics.
Just a bunch of beer on mine. I'm like, that guy's an alcoholic. Why is he taking 40 pictures of one beer?
Right.
It's like, I just gotta get that Instagram angle.
Gotta get that flare through the glass.
Gotta get that flare. I need that J.J. Abrams flare naturally.
That's right. I should buy you an anamorphic lens kit for your iPhone.
You mean Android?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
I said iPhone and I just committed to it.
I know. I was like, did he mean to say that?
No, I didn't mean to say that, but I wasn't going to correct it either.
But Google's basically saying we can't do anything about this.
Yep.
We're sorry. We're screwed. Or you're screwed. If you still have that data, back it up again now.
Yep.
And we encourage the people that if they found data that's someone else's, please delete it. And that's all they can do.
Right.
So someone could have.
We don't even know who we sent it to.
Yeah. It's a big.
Yeah.
Whoopsie.
Yeah.
Whoopsie.
Family friendly. Sorry. I did get carried away.
It was a quote from Linus. It wasn't technically coming from this channel.
Well, no, the DP wasn't.
Oh. It's 9:30. I was gonna say it's past 10.
It's not past 10 yet.
It could be past 10 for most people.
Yeah.
Well, you are on the best coast.
Mm-hmm. Come on, it's already Thursday in the East Coast. Lighten up a bit. Gosh, and it's 9:30 on the West Coast. Your kids shouldn't be up now anyway.
Yeah, Google.
It's a Wednesday night.
Google states, we recommend you perform another export of your content and delete your prior export at this time.
Yep.
No, I'm probably going to do both of it. I don't want anyone's going to sit there like, well, what did I get?
Yep. All right. We are running a little bit short on time, especially if we want to discuss any length of Picard.
Because last time we
and I actually do have a hard out at 10:10. So
okay.
Let's do a little bit of rapid fire, and we'll get into a little bit of a Picard breakdown.
Most of this is pretty fast, too.
Yep. Exactly, and that's kind of why I said something. Microsoft Teams. If you've ever used Microsoft Teams,
sorry, no, I don't.
Neither have I.
Nope.
Anyway, apparently Microsoft Teams suffered an outage because they forgot to renew their certificate. Right?
Well, yeah, so they were out for 4 hours.
Yeah.
But yeah, how stupid! And they're trying to really advertise. Hey, we're a Slack, we're a company-wide chat organizer type thing. And what do? On some of your debut time of, sorry, we forgot to renew our certificate. We're down for 4 hours.
Oops.
God.
Yeah. We're a robust enterprise solution that is, you can replace Slack and Discord and all the other weird services that you have.
Integrate all of your Microsoft into one area.
Hey, Bill, did you renew that certificate yet?
What?
It says it's expiring today.
Yeah, I got it.
4 hours later. Yeah. Liquid says they're switching to Teams. Sorry.
Yeah. My office thought about doing that, and we're like, no, we're actually already too invested into Slack.
Yep. My team's small enough. We just have a group text.
We used to that, and the problem is then we integrated into other departments, and they're like, we love talking to you guys now. I'm like, oh, dear Lord. Why did we do this?
Our group text is only my group, though.
Yeah.
And it stays there.
Yeah, I know. We have the IT community, and then we have all these other people just constantly bombarding us. Please help! This is an emergency. It's like, no, it's not.
Yep. No, I actually have a flowchart which says where you are in my priority list right now. So totally cool. The coronavirus is slowing LCD and TV production, and monitor prices are expected to climb as a result because a lot of TV production actually happens within Wuhan. Happens within the Wuhan province.
Oh.
So this actually could come, obviously the coronavirus is a pretty major deal, especially over in China. We do have some limited cases that have been reported in some other parts of the world. And there was a guy that was kicked off a plane bound for Jamaica because he stood up and went, I just got back from China and I don't feel so good today.
Yeah.
As a prank. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't be that guy.
Drink craft.
Yeah. But anyway, just from a strictly business perspective, Wuhan is home to a lot of different manufacturing processes, mainly a lot of LCD technology, LCD, OLED, micro LED, etc. And so because of illnesses in the factories, they are falling behind in production from where they thought they would be. And
no, we're not going to see a huge bump. We'll probably only see like a 1% bump.
I'd say 5-10% probably.
I would be surprised if it was only like that $299 is now.
They said utilization of LCD fabs could fall as much by 10 to 20% during the month of February, and so it's actually a pretty significant downtrodden. And you're dealing with supply and demand, and if your supply goes down and demand stays at the same level.
Yeah, but it also stated that the rise could be $1 to $2 as high as $5.
But that's straight up cost.
Yes.
And so if you're talking cost, that could be as much as $40 or $50, depending on the manufacturer and the panel itself. So it's probably going to be a small bump, but if you're talking about a $500 panel, all of a sudden it's $530. That could totally be a thing.
So basically, if you're in the realm of trying to buy a new LCD screen, maybe either get it now before that market hits, or wait later in the year.
Right.
Toward the end, maybe wait till that Christmas shopping season hits again.
Yep, exactly. Moving into a little bit of games and entertainment news, we have one kind of funny story.
Oh God, this is so dumb.
The straight up ripoff of Baby Yoda. It's Baby Nuts.
Well, okay, so do you know why this happened? Okay, so the reason
I don't know where you're going, so yeah. So,
no. So the reason this character was actually not a ripoff of Baby Yoda. It was actually a backlash because of the accident that happened with the helicopter and a particular basketball player. I don't really want to get into that because the original commercial listing felt very gruesome and not appropriate to see a regrowth of life.
Oh.
Because they were never planning on doing this.
Yeah.
And of this character.
Interesting. I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, they were planning on killing this particular character off as a gimmick for more promotional, and something happened. I don't want to get into it.
Yeah.
We all know what happened. Particular number 24 and 8.
8.
Yeah. Passed away with family and
Yeah.
a couple others. But anyway, so they didn't want to show this commercial during a Super Bowl out of something else dying.
Right.
So they had to show rebirth.
So they were going to introduce Baby Nut and then kill him?
No, they were just going to kill a Mr. Peanut.
Oh, Mr. Peanut.
And that's it.
Okay.
And so they got this together within a week.
Yeah.
And, because of that, there was a huge marketing thing, and Twitter...
I've read some other reports, and I don't think that's accurate.
Okay, that's what I read.
Because...
I read that this was never supposed to be a thing.
I don't think that's accurate. That might be a story that someone's trying to run with, but I don't think that's accurate because the story we have here is that Twitter actually suspended a number of Twitter accounts owned by the Peanut Planters.
Planters Peanut, which is who owns Kraft.
Right.
Kraft.
They suspended a number of Twitter accounts that were owned by Planters Nuts for basically regurgitating a number of memes that were
that they created. Yeah.
Right. And so they were basically trying to make this thing go viral as much as they possibly could. And Twitter's algorithm said, you can't do that because you own all of the Twitter handles in question.
Yeah.
This is not a natural growth or an organic growth, and we have protections in place to prevent that. And so we're going to suspend your accounts that are doing that.
Yeah.
And so that's the story that they actually had a number of their Twitter accounts suspended.
Yeah, they had 3 of them suspended.
However, the Baby Nut meme accounts were created before Baby Nut's launch, one as early as September 2019.
So then, yeah, that would make
5 months early.
Yeah. Although The Simpsons did kind of do stuff like that, so maybe Planters Peanuts is like The Simpsons.
Right. But suggesting that they were part of a coordinated promotion effort by Planters. So yeah, that was this story was
interesting.
It was,
I'm gonna go look up the other articles then that I found.
Yeah, I'm curious to see that one.
I might send it on the Discord. So if you want to join and hear more about this on the Discord, you might have to join that.
That's right.
But yeah, so some other gaming news.
Yep.
What that actually had nothing to do with gaming, but we're both fans of Warcraft.
Definitely.
Original OG 2.
OG1.
OG1 and 2
Yeah.
is what I was trying to get
okay,
at. OG1 and 2. I was never a fan of 3.
I did play 3.
I played it, but I wasn't a fan of it.
I liked the single player campaign in 3. I thought it was a good single player game. I never really got into the multiplayer campaign, but it was mainly because I was already into StarCraft.
Yeah.
And I loved the multiplayer gaming of StarCraft.
Oh, that was
and I never left that.
Yeah, no.
But no, the OG gaming, the gameplay of 1 and 2 especially are very, very like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That you want to talk about like those style of games, I think Warcraft.
Yes.
Original.
Yeah.
And StarCraft does.
Well, yeah, Warcraft defined the genre. StarCraft was the Warcraft in space.
Yes.
And then Warcraft 3 came along and they started introducing some of the hero elements that they introduced in StarCraft with the Jim Raynor character and whatnot, and actually having like hero characters on the battlefield. That started in StarCraft, and then Warcraft 3 kind of took it to the next level and started telling like roguelike stories within an RTS game.
Yeah.
With those. So yeah, definitely a fan of the entire series of StarCraft and Warcraft. The Warcraft 3 Reforge, not getting a lot of love.
No, because they promised a lot with this game.
They did. They promised
new graphics, redone video,
much like the StarCraft remaster, which they introduced, I think it's almost 2 years ago now, where it is basically the exact same base engine for the game. It is running on the original code, which means all of the units act exactly as they did from the original game. All of your interactions and scripting is all original. And then they put a new graphics engine on top of that original shell.
Yeah.
And that's what StarCraft did with StarCraft Remaster, and it worked very, very well.
Yeah, couldn't you even like switch back and forth from the two? So you're like, oh, here's what it originally looked like to now. That was the beautiful part of it too.
Exactly. With StarCraft 3, they promised to take it to the next level. They were also going to redo all of the original CGI intermissions and videos. Trying to get it, they were going to introduce new gameplay aspects to it as well, but still, if you wanted to play the original game 100% untarnished by anything, you could still play the original game.
Yeah.
What got delivered is something that is, well, not that.
Not that. And it's people are upset.
Rightfully so.
I mean, like, people are demanding refunds and redone. It now has the lowest score.
The lowest score ever recorded on Metacritic, a 0.5.
Yes.
Less than 1. Less than 1. Yeah, a 0.5. And what's really funny is as I bring that up, there's actually a 10 on the top. Actually, an amazing nostalgia trip for me.
You know that is such a bull. That's a developer or someone from the company trying to boost this score up.
190 out of 4,760 users found this helpful.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And I'm sure some of this is being review bombed. I'm sure the truth is somewhere kind of in the middle, probably more towards like the 10 kind of rating than the 0.5. But it's not good.
No.
So they advertised the game with completely redone cinematics, completely redone CGI for the intermission videos that tell the story of the game. And what they got were literally the originals included in it. And they said, well, the trailers were good enough to do the advertising, but they weren't good enough to include in the final game. And we're sorry you're disappointed by that. That was literally Blizzard's line.
Yeah.
There's bugs in the gameplay. There's missing animations. There's missing trigger events that actually break the campaign for you if you do certain actions. There's units that don't perform right. There's bugs that are happening that weren't present in the original game.
Yeah, the original Warcraft 3 plays better than this Warcraft 3.
Yes.
So Blizzard did apologize.
Yeah.
They did.
No, they didn't.
Well, they
said, we're sorry.
We're sorry.
We're sorry you think you deserve an apology.
Yeah.
Is what they said.
We're sorry for those of you who didn't have the experience you wanted.
We're sorry you had your expectations so high. Maybe lower them next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They promise action, but that's basically it.
Mm-hmm.
Basically stating, if you complain enough, we'll probably hand out refunds and make this a free downloadable content. And no one's going to care about it.
Someone asked, what did Fallout 76 get? It got a 52 Metacritic score and a 2.7 user score. So
technically the Metacritic was lower than Warcraft, because that comes in at a 59.
Yeah.
But the user score is a 0.5.
Versus a 2.7.
Yes.
Right. So, yeah, Warcraft on the user score, all-time new.
All-time low.
record.
Yeah.
Yep.
Didn't even hit 1.
Yep. And it wasn't even close.
Yep. Hey, speaking about Fallout.
Yeah, exactly. Fallout 76 is getting human NPCs on April 7th. Aren't you excited? Are you going to play it now?
No.
No. I think that's all we have to talk about on that one.
Yep.
And then Saints Row 4 coming to Switch. This was added in as just a rumor because there was an Amazon listing that said Saints Row 4
pre-order
re-elected on Amazon.
Yeah.
And it was earlier today officially announced by Nintendo. So I was trying to get it in as kind of like a rumor piece, but then it was officially announced as like, I'm not that excited anymore.
Yep. Okay.
No idea on features, or is it a remaster or anything else. I'm assuming it's just a port with some original graphics because the Switch can't handle that level of graphics that it was, at least at 720, maybe trending 1080.
Yeah.
But it should be a fun title if you're into the Saints Row 4 which is kind of like Saints Row meets The Matrix on a little bit of acid.
Yeah, I mean, but I think they're trying to hit that Saints Row crowd.
Or San Andreas meets The Matrix.
But the Saints Row crowd of, hey, now you can play it portable.
Right.
I mean, that's the beauty of the Switch. Essentially is, you want to take this anywhere, you love those type of games, hey, now you can take this anywhere at any given time and have fun. Play it.
Yep. So halfway through.
Yeah.
How much was this?
$4.99 a bottle.
It's not bad.
So $5. Okay, I have to.
It's not bad.
Okay. So someone else was drinking. What was that Lagunitas?
That'd be a 16-pack or a 6-pack for somewhere around $13.
They only sold them in 4-packs.
Okay.
So that's $20 a 4-pack.
It was $20 for the 4-pack.
20 for a 4-pack. So you're talking basically $5 a bottle, $4.99 plus the deposit.
That's a $10 bomber.
Yeah.
That's Dragon's Milk.
Yeah, exactly.
So if we're going threshold.
But okay, someone had what was the Lagunitas? You had it on your video. The Lagunitas, the high percentage one.
Oh yeah.
Someone just had it today. But they had the Waldo, the what's the other one?
There's the Waldo, the coffee,
Right?
Yeah. That other Lagunitas.
The other like, but those are $2.99 a piece.
Yeah.
And they're 10%.
Yeah.
You know, and you were talking about price for value and everything like that in comparison. I don't think $4.99, $5 for this. I think just the fact that it says Bullet Bourbon,
Right.
they upmarked it.
Right. If this was $4.99 for a single bottle, but then a 4-pack for $11 and a 6-pack for $13, which is something we see a lot of.
We see a lot.
You can buy the single bottle and it's $4, but then if you buy the 6-pack, it's 10.
Yeah.
You know,
Brown sugar.
Brown sugar.
Yeah.
If it was something like that, I would get it, and I'd go, you know what, $10, $12, $13 for a 6-pack. I'm probably a buyer of this.
I'm buying it. Yeah.
At legit $5 for 11.6 ounces.
Yeah.
11.2. Ew. This just isn't that good.
No, it's not bad.
Right.
I would get it good. It's just a hair shy of good.
It's good.
Yeah, I wouldn't call this like, wow, this is mind blowing. I probably put it on the same quality of like brown sugar, all of those Lagunitas, but because those are
which I didn't like.
Yours was weird. I don't know why. I have the same one that you had, same year. Mine tasted fine.
Yeah.
So
no, mine was just weird, and it got worse the warmer it got.
That's weird. But because of that price point, and Lagunitas technically is a smaller brewery than this.
Yeah.
I want to go. I'd rather have more of their stuff than this particular one. Now, this is Guinness, and technically they're not known for this style of stuff, so whatever.
Yeah.
So, but actually,
this is good. It's certainly very drinkable. It's not exactly what I was expecting. I was expecting thicker stout. I was hoping it was nitro.
If this was either nitro or a little bit thicker, I'm good.
A little bit thicker, I'm totally good.
Yep. I'm good.
If those flavors can last just a little bit longer, because right now I can taste everything, but it's just fleeting. It's you're chasing that taste all the way through it, and nothing sticks, and so you're going,
yeah.
You know, I just want more. I just want a little bit more. Come on. And as soon as you're done, all you taste is just a little bit of a dark chocolate cocoa nib in the back of your throat.
Yeah.
And that's really it.
Yeah, I know.
Where for a 10% dessert beer, this isn't scratching that itch. For a heavy stout, it's not scratching my itch. For anything that I would buy in this price range as a bourbon barrel aged stout, it's not getting it.
No, it really only scratches that itch of like, oh, you want that chocolatey roasty porter that kind of goes good with like a steak or a roast. Yeah, this hits it, but then you're like, I'm too drunk now. This is too high ABV to enjoy. I can't have something after this.
Right.
Because this is too
Do
strong.
you taste any bourbon in this? Because I don't.
I don't. I mean, I taste the alcohol. I really do taste it.
It's very boozy.
It's boozy. It's not like, Four Loko, just pure grain alcohol boozy.
Right.
It's a smoothness, but you're like, oh, there's booze in this.
Right. But no, I don't taste bourbon, and that disappoints me.
Mm-hmm.
That really disappoints me.
So, anyways, so we're gonna go into Picard news if you haven't watched it yet.
Hashtag spoiler alert.
Hashtag exactly. So, if you haven't watched it by now, I'm sorry because the next one's on in
2 hours.
2 hours.
Yep.
So, whatever. Episode 2, really not as storytelling development. It really just seemed to just build drama.
It started a lot of plot points.
Yes, it left more questions.
We see there are some Romulans that have infiltrated the higher ranks of Starfleet.
Yes.
With the Commodore or the head security officer of Starfleet being potentially a Romulan agent disguised as a Vulcan.
Yes.
And another...
Wouldn't be the first time we've seen something like that.
Exactly. And another Romulan disguised as a human.
Yes, that one wasn't too bad. I particularly like the fact that they kind of jabbed at the person being like, "You're stuck in that form temporarily for now." You know,
yes.
How how does it feel to have those rounded ears? I think the line was along that line. Right. There were certain aspects of this
the smell. It's intoxicating.
There was certain
buy it.
Certain things,
a little bit of Mr. Smith there.
Certain things I stated in the Discord. Again, we chat heavily on Picard on the Discord, so join if you are into that type of stuff. Super nerdy, I know, but there was a couple of plot points and then character, especially one of the Romulans. Picard's Romulan helper, I should say. Or caretaker, one of his caretakers, not helper, caretakers, the female, which are ex-Tal Shiar. We learned this.
Yeah, we learned they're ex-Tal Shiar.
Yeah, we learned they're ex-Tal Shiar.
Romulan Secret Order, Secret Service.
Which apparently there's a whole Section 39 version of the Romulans.
The Doc Vosh.
The Doc Vosh, which is, I right away was like, oh, so they have their own version of Section 29.
They're the people that Tal Shiar are scared of.
Yeah, it's like, okay. I didn't really care for that.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a cop-out.
Yeah.
I would have preferred more of just rogue group.
Yeah.
Of maybe even just ex-Tal Shiar, where they're a rogue group of ex-Tal Shiar.
Right.
But how does a Romulan become Irish?
See, I don't have a problem with that. Because you speak whatever language you learn in whatever accent you learn it in. And so I don't really have a problem with accents in the future or universal translators translating in a certain way. I don't. And okay. So I want to give the characters a pass. That and it gives them a little bit of character in themselves.
So I didn't, it was like, I don't mind the accent. I really don't. But I was like, the fact that she's Romulan, I don't get how they would have an Earth accent, type of a thing. Especially when they migrated to Earth. And a universal translator for English they probably already had that because...
It was probably Oregon Standard.
So, but one...
As the one form of English that pronounces every single consonant and vowel within a word.
Oregon.
Jif.
No. Anyways,
Skull, $10 donation. Should pour a little bullet bourbon on the side to see if any of those come through. I don't have any bullet bourbon. I do have some bullet rye.
Rye, and that has a pretty distinct rye flavor to it, and that's why it's not going to work. But I did, what she did remind me? She did remind me of the character in the TNG episode. I think it's called like The Ladder something. But the Irish folk. And the cloned smart people, where they're from the same race. She reminded me of that character that Riker falls in love with.
Okay.
I actually almost thought it was the same actress.
Yeah.
But it's not. But so the story basically goes into, it starts off Picard waking up, or not waking up, but kind of explains what happens to him early on. In the first episode.
Yeah.
Quick.
Well, it opens up with the scene on Mars with the...
Oh, yes, I forgot about that.
With
it's a flashback, essentially.
It's a flashback to the event that happened on Mars, which is the synths basically opening up the security gates and allowing ships to come in and blow it up.
Yeah, so it kind of shows that the humans are kind of almost making fun of these, and they purposely made them look like Data.
Good morning, plastic people.
Yeah, they're kind of making fun of them, and they all have the same makeup and eyes of Data type of thing. Yep. Now, they're not as conscious as Data, obviously, because you see them purposely doing very executed programmed like responses. Type of thing. Like Data trying to smile and haha, I know it's a joke because you said something funny because I see you fluctuated in your tone. Right. So my response is smile.
Haha. Do you get it? No.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
And again, they do so they're kind of on a lunch break, and F8. Fate, which someone in our Discord pointed out. I don't think you or I even picked that up.
I didn't pick it up in my first run through.
Yeah.
Why was run through such a difficult word to say?
Right? You're always trying to find those words.
I had the R. That's as far as I can get. $9.99. How much to shave your head live on stream and not wear beanies, John? I don't think your pocketbooks are deep enough.
No, not deep enough.
No.
No.
John loves his hair.
I do love my hair. Although, I will state...
I can barely get a comb through this. I have to pay my barber double. I love my hair.
I will say it probably will get cut for an episode of my channel within the next couple of months.
Good.
And not super short, but maybe he might also take some form of an appearance on this show. Who knows? Who knows? Because I've already told Jeff what this is. But who knows?
Oh, stay tuned.
Is that a hair I got in my mouth? Filtration needs a little work. Yeah. Anyways, so they
I can tell it wasn't my wife's because it's too long.
So they show basically the massacre. Essentially, this android F8 hacks the security system to allow these ships and the other androids that are based there on Mars colony to go rogue, and they take all the mining equipment, basically just slaughter everyone there. Yeah. And these ships come in, which I'm assuming looked pre-planned.
Yeah.
And it basically just shows the massacre of what happened.
Yeah.
And then cuts to Picard.
Yep.
Back to, was it when he was waking up, or was that? No. They're basically just, he's walking through the events of what happened to him on the roof, and with the character Dodge.
Yeah.
And they end up back in Dodge apartments with his female Romulan caretaker, which somehow has Tal Shiar forensics that can scan DNA to reenact everything that happened from DNA.
I can see mind's eye. I can see physical recreation of like where people were. They said?
Yeah.
That's where you lost me.
Yeah, exactly. I would have given that, like, technically it would have been better, like, they were here, and walked to here and sat here. And then there are these 3 blank black pillars. What are these? Why is this empty?
Right.
I would have loved that.
Yes.
That would have been fun.
A little bit more mystery.
Like, how are these particles in this section disappeared?
Right.
And then they say the Tal Shiar or whatever organization erased the DNA metadata.
It hasn't just been cleaned, it's been scrubbed. Right. And so, yeah, this one had like the deep stretches of my Star Trek mind.
Yeah.
They were pulling beyond what that's capable of bringing up. And I didn't like... Again, I don't like explaining a wetware problem with technology. And it feels lazy.
Yeah.
And so... And that's kind of the theme of episode 2. If I were to narrow it down, episode 2 set the stage for a lot of things, but whereas episode 1 felt rushed a couple of times to fill in the blanks of the story, but you're like, okay, they're just trying to set up the next plot point. Yeah. I forgive it. Episode 2 is setting up the next plot points, and those felt rushed. And that's what I don't like.
Yeah, that whole episode, a lot of it felt rushed.
Some leaps Evel Knievel couldn't have made.
Yeah, exactly. Picard sits there and starts like, there was a whole, like, she starts explaining, they always leave a clue behind that's natural, but not natural. What about this?
Like this computer here?
Like this computer here?
Yeah.
Come on.
Right.
You know?
And so there were too many, like, obvious, like blowing too much air into a balloon.
Yeah, I know.
It was literally that.
One of my loves was, like, the Picard, after they figure out it's the computer, and, it's her communicator or whatever. Picard's all like, can we tell if it's from off-world or not? You have spent your whole life in a starship.
In subspace.
In subspace. You know what deep space contact, off-world contact looks like.
Wherever she was, it was coming from off-world.
Dun, dun. You wanted a CSI. Pull the glass out. Yeah! The Who.
I'm trying to think of a line.
I know, right? It was out of this world.
Thank you. I guess the Vulcans out of the bag.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And that's what it felt like. I was like, oh. But there were some good parts of this show.
Yeah. I didn't hate this episode at all.
No.
I thought it was rushed. I thought they used technology to explain things that they shouldn't have. But I thought the overarching story of it, the conspiracy that they set up with the Romulans in high command within Starfleet.
Yeah.
I thought the love interest of Soji with the Romulan that's on the Borg cube, that could be interesting here in a couple of episodes. I thought the next episode they're going to introduce Hugh, and I thought introducing Soji's character as kind of a therapist for helping these Borg or the Nameless make a transition into, hey, you're not part of a collective anymore. I thought that was all wonderful.
That's kind of interesting. It almost seems like the Romulans don't really have the proper technology to take them fully out of their stasis, like we see in Voyager or TNG. So they got that more scarred look up, and it might be more psychologically damaging to them. And so they have to bring these therapists and psychiatrists, these Diana Troy, whatever, to kind of just, hey, I know you're screwed up, but here you go. And we find out that essentially the Romulans are selling Borg parts.
They're selling Borg parts and access to the station that they captured. So this is a Borg cube. It is not part of the Wolf 359 invasion, as what was my original theory. This is another Borg cube that entered Romulan space and was disabled or cut off from the collective in some way and abandoned by the collective. And when that happened, all the Borg kind of just shut down. They just stopped working.
And so the Romulans are slowly reintegrating them and taking all of their parts off of them.
They're not only taking the parts, they're allowing other races and other cultures to come in and do their own investigation within the cube. Yeah. And so they have basically converted the center of the cube into a safe hold, where it's like, we own all of this technology, this is all of our space. However, there's a containment barrier with a very strict protocol on who gets in, who gets out, and what you can do inside of there. And they say, this is still an active Borg cube. This is one of the most destructive weapons ever made that the universe has ever seen. Be careful.
Yeah.
So it's all very, very interesting stuff.
Yeah. And then there's some humor in this one too. Picard going back to Starfleet. Actually, I loved that scene. I think it's like the 11-minute, possibly like 18-minute mark. But they introduce in the orchestra the TNG theme is in the background.
When he enters Starfleet headquarters.
I was like, that was great.
The music was on point.
Yeah, it was on point. Actually, one of the things I thought was interesting though was they show the Enterprise, what I believe was exactly. So he enters Starfleet headquarters, which is the lobby, and they have a hologram, which I believe is Enterprise A. Yeah. And they skip B and C, and they go directly to D. Yeah. Basically, kind of pointing out that B and C, no one cares. Nothing
of historical significance happened with those ships.
And then he looks up and kind of like, that's mine.
But then he approaches the counter and he goes, "Yes, I'm here to see Admiral blah
blah blah,
and I have an appointment." And the guy just kind of stares at him, and Picard goes, "Your name, sir?" "Oh, sorry. Picard, Picard, Jean-Luc." And he goes, "Oh, nice to see you up and around, Admiral."
Yeah, and kind of like, do you see that? That's me up there.
Right. Do you? thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a great scene.
Yeah, it was kind of like he comes in there with very odd things. Everyone's gonna know me. They're gonna respect me.
Yep.
Look, they're paying homage to me with my ship.
Yep. It was very humanizing for Picard, and then especially when he enters the Admiral's office and he, you can see how disrespected he is within the Federation now.
Yeah.
Where they hold him up as a once great man, and they called him that in that scene. A once great man trying to hold on to a shred of dignity.
Yeah.
I think is how they put it. And he goes, I need a ship with warp capability, and if you are afraid of my presence on the ship being overbearing or alarming, I would be happy to give up my rank of admiral and be considered captain.
Yeah.
And they dropped the third F-bomb ever in Star Trek history.
And I think this is the first in a series.
Yeah.
Or
no, Discovery had
Discovery?
two.
Okay.
Yeah, Discovery had two. And those ones weren't well placed.
No.
This one was like...
It wasn't even like... It was in the middle of a sentence. It wasn't just F-bomb.
Right.
F-bomb you. You know?
Yeah, it was the sheer effing hubris of you. The cojones you must have to come into my office and think you can get that from me. We don't owe you anything, Picard.
Yeah.
And it was
especially from the interview that they talked about in the previous episode.
It was a jarring scene.
Yeah.
Admiral Clancy, thank you. Yeah.
So yeah, but it also at the same time it kind of made me think the Admiral was similar to older TNG episodes of where remember when that alien bug race kind of took over? There's a little kind of an arc of saying, hey, there's something going on within the Federation. It almost seemed like she was off.
Well, there's also Iborg. There's also a bit of the Admiral telling, why did you let, or I guess not Iborg, that's where it started with Hugh. And they said, well, we released him back into the collective, and it's next time you have the opportunity to destroy the collective, you effing take it.
Yeah, no. That was another line that they stated in this of Picard saying, we don't have the right to decide if a society lives or dies. And she says, we're the Federation. Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. And we will take it, and you will take it next time you're presented the opportunity.
Yeah, and that was a kind of hit to the Iborg.
And that was when Lore came back with the Borg.
Yeah.
It was during that little miniseries there. So definitely a lot of plot points set into motion in this episode. Very curious to see where it goes. Now, we were exited with Picard showing up to Raffi.
Yeah, which we don't know technically who the character is, but...
There are comics about her, and she was the first officer for Picard post-Enterprise.
Okay.
She served as first officer during the Romulan rescue, and for some reason, she is not all that happy with Picard, as we got to see during the introduction of Raffi.
The only thing I remember seeing was off of Ten Ford or Will Wheaton's thing, was she's supposed to... And then she ended up being some kind of head of security for something.
Yeah.
And so, the one thing I did notice, being the type of people we indulge in, is
that the 86?
Is that the 86? And he did that, and it was a twist top.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, they wouldn't do that. And I could swear it was a twist top bottle of wine.
I'm not so sure because it was a Chateau Picard label.
It was a Chateau. I'm going to go back tonight and I'm going to do a screenshot and be like, that's a twist top. That's a twist top. No shit.
See, I watched it and I could have swore it was foil wrapped.
I could have swore it was foil wrapped. I could have swore I saw the spirals in there. But it also kind of showed the character of, look, she wasn't happy with Picard, but at the same time there was respect and mutual understanding. Okay, look, he wouldn't have brought that unless he wanted to talk or it's something interesting.
And she tosses the water out and goes, okay, fill my cup with that.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's where we ended. So, anyway, very excited to see episode 3. Episode 2 was certainly less exciting, less dramatic, less nostalgic than episode 1, but I think it certainly set the stage for what's going to come. So, be interesting to see it tomorrow. And if you're on the Discord, you can start talking about it at 9:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And if you have any questions about that, I'm just going to ban you now.
Because I keep pushing for it.
So,
anyways.
So there will be spoilers on the Historical Documents channel, 9:30 p.m. tomorrow. That's Thursday. After I've had a chance to sit down and watch it with my wife.
Yes.
So, anyway, This is going to be episode 118 of Talking Heads, your once weekly live show with the latest in beer and tech news. Join us every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Pacific time. Same bat channel, same bat time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Make sure to join the Patreon. Subscribe to Hops and Brews. If you like the beer stuff that we do on this channel, his channel is full of that with the occasional guest appearance of moi.
Moi, yeah.
So, link to his channel is down in the video description. Go give him a like. Go check out his videos. Very knowledgeable, former Tap House owner.
Yep.
And if you like the beer, you're definitely going to like his channel.
Yep. Oh, yeah. So. And we got some new stuff coming up and possibly new shooting area, too.
That's right. Yeah. I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, so me too.
Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this one, and we will see you next week.
See you guys.
Cheers.